Hello, we are continuing our series Verge3D for Blender Basics. In this part of the tutorial, we'll learn how to use annotations that are provided by Verge3D toolkit. Annotations are very helpful for adding textual descriptions to a 3D model. These are basically points of interest that help the user get more information about a product. Annotations can be added to any 3D object. This can be a mesh object. In such a case, the annotation will be attached to the object center. A more convenient approach is to add annotations to invisible empty objects instead. So let's add some annotations to the instruments of the knife. It makes sense to unfold the knife beforehand so that we can see where to add empties. Okay, here is the first big blade. Let's place its empty in such a spot where the geometry would not obstruct the annotation. The empty should not be placed inside geometry, nor deeply between objects, but rather in an open, readily observable location like this. Since we are dealing with an animated object here, the empty should be attached to it, so that they move together. This can be implemented by parenting the empty to the animated object. Select the empty, then the object, and use hotkeys Ctrl+P to make a parent-child relationship. Now the empty is attached to and moves together with the blade during animation. Let's give this empty a meaningful name. We can agree to add a suffix to the name of each instrument, making it clear which empty is linking to which instrument. So let's copy the object name, whatever it is, paste it, and add the suffix annotation. We continue with adding empties. Placing them properly, naming them, and parenting. And so on, until the empties are in place. Finally, we can reorganize our scene a bit by placing all the empties to a collection, which we name Annotations. As a result, we can easily hide them in bulk when we want a clear space for work. Let's export to Verge3D and go right to the puzzles editor. Here we'll be adding annotations to the empties. It is better to add a specific bunch of functionality in another tab. You can click the plus button to add a new tab. Tabs are basically workspaces that exist exclusively for our convenience, to make it easier to work with puzzles, especially when there are a lot of them. Let's name the new tab Annotations. Now we've got our new tab and it is absolutely clean and we can place new puzzles here. Go to Objects and drag out the puzzle called Add Annotation. This puzzle allows you to specify the name for an annotation. We'll be using just numbers. The next slot is for the object to which the annotation is attached. Let's select some empty. Then comes the field for some description, which will be shown when the annotation is expanded. We'll be simply using the instrument's names. And finally, there is the ID slot for the HTML element associated with an annotation. We'll be using just n underscore and a number. If we run our scenario now, we can see that the annotation is added. The number icon is clickable, expanding to show the description. Let's add all other annotations. Now, if we run our scenario, all these annotations will show up in the preview. Let's open up the whole application for better view. You can see that some of the annotations are semi-transparent. They are non-clickable too, since they are obstructed by geometry. These annotations become visible and clickable when the knife is unfolded. Descriptions are shown upon click. There is no much sense in having obstructed annotations in the folded state. So let's add some logic to disable some of the annotations when the knife is folded. Let's get back to the main tab where the folding and unfolding of the knife is scripted. And place the HTML puzzle called setStyleForElement. We'll be modifying the display CSS property for the annotations. Setting its value to none. To handle multiple annotations in bulk, let's add a list puzzle. The list should have 6 slots as per the number of annotations we are going to hide. Let's add the IDs for these annotations to the list. No need to enable in-parent-doc, since the annotations are added to the inner HTML file. This puzzle should be moved inside the when finished slot of the animation puzzle. So after the folding animation is finished, the listed annotations become hidden. Let's save and run the application. All annotations are visible at the beginning, but if we unfold the knife and fold it again, we can see that all unclickable annotations are gone. Of course, we should hide unclickable annotations at application start as well. Let's copy this group of puzzles and paste it to the other tab. This group should be located after the puzzles that create the annotations. Otherwise, nothing will be hidden, as annotations should exist to be able to hide them. Let's save our puzzles and run the app again. Now all obstructed annotations are hidden at start time. However, the hidden annotations should be revealed once the knife unfolds. To do this, simply copy these puzzles again and paste them inside the unfolding animation puzzle. Setting display to black reveals HTML elements. As a result, once the unfolding animation is finished, previously hidden annotations show up. Let's check this in the app. No obstructed annotations at start time, great. Clicking Unfold makes them appear though. so they can be clicked from one or another side. As we fold the knife, the listed annotations hide again, making clickable only those that are unobstructed. This is already good enough. Now let's implement the possibility to hide and unhide all the annotations through button click. Drag out an HTML event puzzle. Set it to click. We'll assign this puzzle to the ID of this button. In case you are confused what ID this button has, you can hit F12 to open the console. Click this arrow button and then click the button element to find out its ID, which we can now copy and paste in our puzzle. Be sure to check in parent doc. Now we'll be hiding all the annotations once this button is clicked. Let's duplicate this group of puzzles and set display to none. Now let's add another 6 element to the list to the total of 12. Let's move the whole group to the Annotations tab via copying and pasting. Now we can check that our scenario actually works. Indeed, clicking the button hides all the annotations. Okay, now we'd like our annotations to be revealed again. To track the state of annotations, visible or hidden, we'll need a variable. Let's name it Annotation Visible. The default value for this variable should be true, meaning that the annotations are visible at start time. We'll be checking this variable inside our event click puzzle. If annotations are visible, we should hide them. Is something else, meaning the annotations are hidden, then we should reveal them. We should also update our variable each time the state changes. After hiding the annotations, the variable should be set to false. Other way around, our variable should be set to true once the annotations become visible again. Let's check how it works in the app. Unfold the knife and hide the annotations. Click again to show them again. Everything works as intended. There is a little problem, however. If we fold the knife and hide the annotation, it works fine. But if we click it again, all the annotations are revealed instead of just 6. To fix this, we should perform additional checking here. We should detect if the knife is folded or unfolded at each time. In fact, we're already tracking the state with the unfolded knife variable. As such, we only need to check our logic against this variable. So if the knife is not unfolded, we'll be revealing only these 6 annotations. Otherwise, if the knife is unfolded, we'll show them all. Let's check how it works. Unfold the knife, hide and show the annotations again. Everything works well so far. Now fold the knife. Only 6 annotations that we need are visible, just like we wanted it. Now let's make this button reflect if the annotations are visible or hidden, to make it more clear for the user what is going on. To do this, we just need to replace the icon for this button. There is an icon in the starter file, see the link below the video. Just copy it, open the application folder from the App Manager and paste this icon here. We can replace the icon with a puzzle called Set Style for CSS Rule. So unlike we were doing before, we'll be looking for CSS declarations rather than element IDs. Select Background Image. Add 2 placeholders to which we'll be copying exact values a bit later. And check in parent doc. To make no mistake about what CSS rule we should modify, let's open the console. Click the arrow first and then click our button element. You can see here a CSS declaration for this element. Let's copy the name of the CSS block and paste it to the puzzle. And copy the path to the icon which is currently assigned to our button. Let's just fix the image file name because our new icon has hidden in its name and it's the only difference. Now place this puzzle near the variable where the state of annotations visibility is changed to false. Let's save the puzzles and check out the app. Yes, the icon is replaced when the button is clicked for the first time, although it is not restored when click it again. Let's fix this by copying this puzzle and pasting the original file path. If we check it again, we can see that the icons are now properly swapped back and forth. Everything is good now. Except that the style for this annotation does not really match the design. They are black and barely visible on top of the dark background, and the overall style does not fit in. To fix this, we'll be editing the CSS styles associated with the annotations. We are going to override the default CSS styles for these round buttons as well as for the expandable dialogues. We'll be using the text editor called Atom, but you can surely use any other text editor instead. Let's open the application folder. Here are displayed all the files of our project. We'll be editing the file called swissarmyknife.css. We'll be adding our code right here. Verge3D provides a couple of default CSS styles used to display annotations. The main class is called .Verge3D annotation, and it is used to style the round buttons with numbers. See more details in the chapter Style and Verge3D applications of the user manual, find the link below. First of all, we'd like to make these buttons smaller. Set the width and height to 20 pixels each. As you can see, the height was made smaller, but the width didn't change. This is because we also need to override the min width property, which stands for minimum width. Let's make it 0 pixels. However, we should adjust the padding property to make it right. Also make it 0 pixels. We also don't want to have any numbers displayed inside the annotations. To remove them, simply set font size to 0 pixels. As a result, we got smaller and cleaner round buttons. Let's also remove the white edge around the buttons by setting the border property to none. Now we have these little black circles. Next, we'd like to put our own icon inside these circles. We are gonna copy the icon image info.svg from the starter files. Open the application folder from the App Manager and paste it to its subfolder Images. Now we can use the background image property to assign this icon to our annotations. We need to specify the path to the icon file, images/info.svg. Check it in the app. Yes, the icon is here. The only thing left is to make the background white. This is how we want it. Now let's style the dialog windows as well. This part of the annotation has its own style, reserved by the toolkit .Verge3D annotation dialog. First thing we want to do is to make it white by specifying the background color property. At the same time, the text should be black. Looks better already. The dialog is too big, however. Let's make it smaller by setting all its padding properties to 8 pixels. We should also modify the min width property. As before, we'll make it 0 pixels. Great! It is now much more compact and also resizes according to the length of the text. The dialogues, however, are too distant from their respective annotations. To fix this, we should adjust both left and right margins, making them 20 pixels each. Excellent! The dialog windows now reside in proper places. There is one small issue left though. The issue is that the obscured annotations are not that much different from the visible ones. This can be easily fixed by using another reserved CSS class, namely .v3d annotation transparent. First of all, make its background color gray and make its opacity value smaller. By default it is 0.5, but we'll make it 0.3. Now the difference is stark. The obscured annotations are much less noticeable than the visible ones, which is awesome. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.